Welcome back, my gardening friends. Well, it's Sunday the 8th of March and it's been a beautiful day, a lot better than what the weatherman said. So we've got quite a bit done. Been up the allotment quite a while. I've got home for my lunch or dinner and I found these in the dustbin. No, they can go along here in the wildlife garden. Won't be long now before I need to take some of those back for Mrs. K. These are the poppies that the seed head accidentally fell into her hand and she brought it home, not realising that if you tipped it upside down all the seeds fell out. The logs that we've put in here looking good now, and it won't be long before we're giving this a real good tidy up once all the bugs, insects have decided to come out of all these hollow canes. We don't want to disturb them. Let's have a little look at some of the fruit bushes. They're all showing signs now of life. Some of these had already got the roots on when we took them from another plot when we cleared it, so it looks like these are all going to be spurting into life, and I can now contact my friend who can have the rest of these now we've made sure that we're okay. If you're new to my channel, then please consider subscribing, and I'd like to welcome the 299 new subscribers in the last 28 days for joining me and following me on my journey. Don't forget to comment and like, and just check the comments out while I'm just rambling away. Just want to quickly show you this guttering system. Now this is the pipe that I took off the back of that truck with all the materials on. I took it down to the local plumbing place and he said, oh yes, it's just one of the snap lock fits. So I'm going to get the barrel, sort it out, and then I might just need to buy a few elbows. Now in an up and coming video we're going to be looking at doing a review on this capillary matting. Now this tub of compost was bone dry, it was light as a feather. We've put 2 of those wicks in the bottom, which I'll show you on the review. I've filled this with water. It is leaking at the joints, but I'm thinking about using wood chips around it, and the wood chips will stay wet and the cloth bag will also draw the moisture, and I believe that it's actually soaking up, but we'll do a reveal on that. We'll turn it upside down. It's been in for 2 days now. Yes, we have cleaned the greenhouse out, and this staging is now almost ready for the onions and anything else I can get out the greenhouse grow room. These 2 large bags of spent compost that we find on the side of the road are going, and a fellow plot holder is having that compost, mainly because I've got far too much, and if I have to put the barrel there, we want to make sure we can walk through, so it's nice to help each other out. And I do need to get the log ashes along here, and it won't be long before we need to feed all these raspberries and that with the nitrogen liquid plant food. I'm not worrying too much about these strawberries because a lot of them have got the vine weevil. I will be putting some liquid on to try and cure that, but I'm not bothering too much. We'll see what grows and what doesn't. We've been taking some of this manure from this bin, and it's teeming with worms. Obviously this is a bit that's been out of the ground, and luckily enough, as I've been scooping it out, the worms have been coming with it. I haven't been cutting them in half. It's always a shame, but This material has been going in the raised boxes that you'll be seeing shortly. So as we move in the wind to plot 3, we can perhaps see some of the progress. This camera doesn't like being, I don't normally walk you around, but we've got quite a few of these cables about. It's like playing the crypt, in fact, climbing all over these. But that's the square foot gardening. We've still got another one at the back. Got to set this out. Here we go over the cable, over the string line. I've trimmed all the plastic up now, so we should be able to see how well everything looks nice and level. Reasonably pleasing to the eye. More beds filled. These have been topped off now. They will need an extra layer of soil and the compost out those bags, so we'll let it settle a little bit more. This is some of the soil that we've still, here we go over another cable, some more of the soil that we still need to get rid of. So I'm going to put some more compost on that and then rotivate it in before I fill these up with some good stuff. Mainly thing with doing this video was to ask for your advice again. So these are the carrot beds. So there's 4 here, then there's 5, and the far one will be the parsnip. We've got 2 more there, and I'm just in the dilemma. That's a 500 gap, which I can squeeze through okay. It's only the same as the gap that I ended up with between the compost bin and the pallet collars on the left. My dilemma is I could get that to 600, which will mean then we've got 600 there. But I'm doing something here differently with the pallet collars, so I'm just wondering whether I need 700 here. I just what do you think? Just leave in the comments. We'll just nip round and have a look over here. So we've tried to set this up so it looks reasonable. Looks like we're missing another shower. Another dilemma. Celery. Now, Alan from the Dawn Chorus plot used pallet collars to blanch his celery. So Alan, I just need a little bit off you as well. I'm 2 pallet collars high. I'm just wondering whether that pond liner that we did show you in previous videos, that I was going to use to cover my manure runoff bins, but now we've got that plastic polycarbonate corrugated sheet in, I can use this elsewhere. If I actually line that 2 pallet collars deep, will the celery still survive if it does get saturated? As you can see, loads of soil. Those pallet collars are going to be used over here because they're not actually going to be lined, because the next pallet collar down is going to be the Jerusalem artichoke bed, which will take us down to there, which means I might only get 1 water barrel. But I think the Jerusalem artichokes would be nice there, and as they grow we'll stack the pallets on top, so we'll be able to use 3 more pallets there, and the pallet collars sit nicely round that old plastic tub that we cut the bottom out of, so we'll sink that in the ground, and then if any of the Jerusalem artichokes, which they will, burst out of the bottom, out of the holes, then they are reasonably contained. Me and my big feet did trample one of the broad beans. I've had to transplant 2 from out that corner. As you can see, it's just in the way, and after checking this, thinking it to be out the way, there's the root. I can't afford not to get some seed from these, so I'll be giving those a feed. We've got some of that to harvest. I haven't brought the words with me that somebody said how to say that. I ain't even going to attempt it. Is that celery lac stuff? Somebody kindly wrote it as I should say it, and I haven't brought it with me. And this is the cloth. This is why I'm not using any membrane. It's gone rotten, and when you come to pull it up, but these wood chip paths are ready for harvesting. They're 3 to 4 years old, so those are being saved, and this is what the wood chips look like. And I'll be sieving some of these and adding, so I'll be sieving the wood chips and adding it to the leaf mould to start my bean family off in the cardboard rolls. I've got plenty there. People are so kind and they do save them for me. It'd be nice to revamp this, maybe bring some of those ornaments over here. This is going to be the supports for my long veg. I need to get this sorted, and I'm going to be changing that as well, using some of the pallet collars. Just desperate for more time. Running out of time. It looks like I'm not going to start sowing now until one night in the week of all the stuff that I can, mainly the brassicas. The bean family won't hurt. Leaving it a little bit longer. I'm pleased with all the garlic. This garlic was originally from Mike Hurdis, and this is one row was from William Coleman Garden and Allotment, and it's the Red Russian, and I keep forgetting to write the Red Russian. I can spell red, but I can't spell the other bit, so I do need to get that written on. Look how much it's dried out, and I've actually, first time in many months, got my trainers on. I've got my Wellingtons in there if I do need to do something. But definitely looking forward now to having a go at these square foot gardening beds, cut stroke coal frames. Getting quite a few compliments from my fellow allotmenteers on this site. And I've just got to decide now how much wood I've got spare, whether I can actually just get one pallet, one scaffold plank high to go along here. We're actually going to run it to here, and then this area here will be enough room for four barrels for water, for easy access to all those beds. And then we'll have another 4 at this end. As I've said previously, the guttering on the new revamped polytunnel over the winter will actually fall this way, and we'll have the barrels sat right in the ground, and then we can pump the water into these 4, and then there'll be another barrel down there. But I don't want to do it yet because we've got to get all this plastic out. I don't think it's buried deep, but I think he's used some corkscrews into the ground, so I want plenty of room. And we've still got this area to finish off this month if we get time. I need to find time. Now it's dry, we can crack on. So some of these pallet collars aren't worth actually using to actually line, but they're going to be ideal to put on and off for the celery and the Jerusalem artichokes to help support them. I'm hoping to get a vegetable harvest in. That tub of carrots needs to come out. That's been in nearly 12 months now, so we'll see what they're looking like. It'd be nice to get those slabs in as well. It's been irritating me a bit, but never mind. When I get time, I need to scratch my head about the vertical gardening. It's an idea from Southpaw Davey Urban Farm. Pop across to his channel, as well as William Coleman, Allotment and Garden and Allotment, shall we say, and Alan from the Dawn Chorus Plot. I just need to figure out how to support them, whether I put big sticks in there or just put one brace in at each end. And then that will give me access there either way to hang the buckets onto the vertical gardening. These are the bins where I store the compost we find, and I've been using that to mix in with the top of the beds. Just that's a little bit more fluffier, than it's got more roots in, so I've not been using so much of that in the top of the beds, but it's been coming in really useful. As you can hear, it's a little bit gusty, but it's a nice drying wind. It's nice not to have any rain from these quite heavy showers when they have been coming. I'm looking forward to raising the polytunnel up and doing a bit of work on that. But this year's been a massive project, building these compost bins. Well worth a look how to build those, keeping them off the ground. Everything's off the ground and not touching the soil, so hopefully it'll last a long time. Yeah, if you can help me out then, my friends, by a few comments. I always like to drop a video in asking for help before I do something, because you do come up with some really good ideas, and whether especially with the celery, do I bother? But I just want to keep them moist. So that's the main one, and the gap on that, those pallet collars coming down there, I don't want to do that and find I'll be better at 600, but again, well, I need 700 in the middle of the screen, so I've got room to manoeuvre taking the pallet collars on and off. Please remember to consider subscribing, like, comment. Happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now.